Hi there, I'm Danny Henderson, and this is Disclosure on Everything, every system on your planet, every area of your life. Today, I'm going to give you lots of tips how to protect your energy from irritating relatives. Christmas is just around the corner. Those of you who survived Thanksgiving, very well done. Going to give you lots of tips on breathing, on how to help your anxiety. As a long-term trauma therapist, I'm here to help you with that too. I'm going to give you a ton of crystal information, a ton of book information for those of you that get bored and don't want to read a book. I'll do the book part at the end just to let you know so you can bog off then if you want to, but it might be worth your while to wait on and get the tools that can really help you in your life right now. So it's a really interesting time right now to be straight with you guys. We are in a spiritual war. There's no point putting, gloss over it. It is a spiritual war. And, things are coming to the fore. So your families are falling apart, you're falling apart. Anxiety and stress levels are at an all-time high. Countries are being invaded, and presidents and prime ministers, bad motherfuckers, are being taken down and removed. This is what it looks like at the end of a war. This is what the world looks like at the end of long-term dictatorship. But what can you do about it? What can you do about it? Now, there are many different ways that we can protect our energy, and it's crucial, isn't it? I do want to say that I'm sure you've noticed by now, I am wearing a crown. Isn't it so pretty? Very quickly, the lady that made this for me personally, love you, Connie Ockleberry. Connie Ockleberry made this for me at our last conference, which is a disclosure conference that everybody in the world is welcome to. We've got one in England coming up. We've got one in America coming up. I'm sure Connie will be back in September in America 2025 for our next GISIC conference in America. We've got one in England in May. And she made me this anyway, so I wanted to wear it and share it. And it's full of rose quartz crystals. Absolutely beautiful. Did you know rose quartz crystals have a beautiful high frequency, a low vibration frequency, and it's not made up? Let me tell you what's made up. Religions are made up. Of course they are. Where did they come from? They came from a series of events in timelines on our planet. Where did crystals come from? They came from the earth. Crystals have been around a lot longer than every single religion. Come on. So when you hear silly people saying, oh, crystals are really bad, oh my goodness, give them a lollipop and have them sit down. They don't know what they're talking about. And I mean this to the highest levels of religion on the planet. I know I do give religion a bit of a kick in here and there, but I feel it's justified because if they stop to think for a minute, any of these people that tell you, oh, crystals are right bad news, they are. You've got a bloody crystal here. You've got a crystal here, right inside your brain. In fact, you've got more than one, but the main one here is basically pulsing piezoelectricity. This beautiful pineal gland, which is it is the most sensitive part of the entire nervous system in your body, and it pulses a frequency, electricity, electromagnetic frequency known as piezoelectricity. You have been so kept from the true information on your planet. It makes me so cross. That's why I have a channel. That's why I speak out. That's why I'm direct. And that's why I have conferences with the greatest speakers in the world. Let me tell you, first of all, with Christmas coming up, okay, some of the ways to diffuse, how people come over, they've kept all their rage in them all year, and maybe you have too. They come over to the house or you gather at someone's house, Christmas Day, everyone's got mixed feelings about the world. Somebody mentions Putin, somebody mentions Trump. Oh my God, it pops off. A really quick tool, something you can buy, which is as cheap as chips. Just get a pair of these. Okay, still funny. I don't know. I don't need anybody in the room with me. Well, I'm actually alone. Fair enough. Oh my God. Like people look at you and they go like, what is wrong with her? Or the mean one's like, oh, she thinks she's so funny. She thinks she's so funny. I actually do think I'm funny because I find it funny. And as long as I'm laughing, it's all right. But if you could imagine you're sitting at the table or wherever, someone starts to kick off on something they're upset about. What do? You get out your Christmas tree glasses and you bang them on. You bang them on. And people will sit there and pretend they haven't noticed, or they'll be mad at you for trying to make everybody laugh. But It's like the same as when you put music on. When you laugh, when you raise frequency, when you shift out of that groove you're stuck in, when you're engaged in that gear with someone else, that emotional hooking, yeah, that we don't want, we want to neutralize it, then putting on a silly pair of glasses around a Christmas table is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. You don't have to say a word. People get so, oh, it does make me laugh when people get, they get really cross. Okay, these are my favorites. My favorites, right? Let's say it's not Christmas and you're in the same scenario, or maybe you get you get depression, which isn't funny, and you just just need a laugh, or you want to see people's reactions out there in the public, then just get a pair of these. Like, honestly, I know those of you that come to my channel on the regular, you've seen these a few times, but I'm telling you, these are, I think it's just one of the funniest. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay, honestly, I've taken these on dates before. And if the man doesn't laugh, there just isn't a second date. Because if someone doesn't find this funny, I don't want to play with them. I mean, I don't, because we're not going to be on the same wavelength. And what is this? What am I doing? I am ridiculizing myself. I am ridiculing myself. Well, some people would say that. I think it's actually bloody funny. If I was on YouTube and I saw someone in a with a big nose, I would look at them and I think, oh, I want to be friends with her. Oh God. Anyway, talking of protecting yourself in a time where things are stressful, that's one of the greatest things you can. Oh dear me, ground's all lopsided. Okay, so that's two ways to diffuse situations. And then when people start saying, well, what are you wearing this for? Is that funny? Ha ha. To say, I'm really enjoying my dinner. I'm really enjoying this gathering. When it's the attention is on you, then to diffuse and deflect, it's a saving grace. How many people are going to sit there around the table and go, oh my God, thank God she put those stupid glasses on. She's an absolute wally, but it broke the tension in the room. It really did. All right, now I've got a huge pile of books here, and I've got some incredible crystals, which are so powerful. Oh my giddy aunt. They are so powerful. And they're in everything: laptops, watches, computers, your actual brain, life-saving machinery. So, and they can be as cheap as chips. Of course they can. Hello, darlings. They can be as cheap as chips. Let me show you my amethyst. I mean, if you can imagine, this was inside a mountain. It was part of a giant rock. And when it was discovered and cracked open, this was what was on the inside. How could this be New Age? What Wally Chop said that was New Age. That's why they're lying. It's a lie. Obviously, it's a lie. Of course it is. These are hundreds of thousands of years old, whereas religions aren't. You can put a yearage on the religions. Excuse me. This is a amethyst. This is used for so many different things. This is really heavy, this piece. The man I get my crystals from has a very sacred little store in the middle of the countryside in England, in Sussex. So when I drive down to Sussex, that's where I go. And he hand selects everything. Some people are guardians of crystals and they're just so special. So that's amethyst. And you can use this to, meditate on. You can imagine any ill health or dis-ease in your body. You can literally think about it, bring it to the front of you and imagine it going into the crystal. There are so many ways that we get to use crystals. They've absorbed everything, haven't they? This is a very unusual one. They call this the golden dragon. They call it the Andara. There are lots of fake Andaras. They're not all glass slag. This is a piece from Hawaii that came to Hawaii by way of Mount Shasta. And again, there's mixed views. My view is I trust where this came from and the people that gave it to me, and it's not glass, it is Andara, which is a very old crystal. They say it activates other crystals. It certainly isn't worth the 3.5 grand someone said it was. That's an absolute bloody nonsense. They shouldn't be as expensive as they are, in my opinion. So that's another one there that offers lots of protection. apparently. This is also unusual. This is a golden agate, Agate. Really quite unusual. And that's why I got it again from that lovely man in the English countryside who he's like a, if you were ever to imagine a real wizard, a good wizard, then this is the man. This is him. Such a gentle, gentle spirit. This is golden agate again, something to hold, something to put intentions in, something to draw fear out of yourself into so many different ways. This one, this is a laboradite, or a labradite. I love this. I literally slept with this last night. I had backache and I laid with it under my back. It's quite a big piece. Look at it. Isn't it absolutely stunning? It's so stunning. This piece, where is it? Looks like, there we are. It looks like in Hawaii, the most incredible beach, one of the most powerful beach with a stargate, where I actually saw a UFO. Remember, I did a few months ago another broadcast on that. A white UFO was reflecting the sky and the sea on the land, on the beach, in the bushes. There was a giant mirror. Somebody placed a mirror, and it was reflecting off this white, pinky white spacecraft. It was just hovering a few feet out over the ocean. It was massive. It had loads of geometric shapes to it, and it was totally cloaked, totally cloaked. But and it's right at the end of the beach on in Kauai, where they say the souls leave the planet through this one beach in Kauai, Polahale. The beach is called Polahale, and where the ocean comes in. So weird doing it backwards. There's cliff faces. They are so high. They are so high, and it looks exactly like this. That's why I bought it, and I got this in Kauai as well, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So last night I literally slept with it like in the crook of my back, and it was cool to the touch and the feel, and I felt so much better this morning. I'm telling you, our bodies, these crystalline bodies, they respond, they because the crystals are alive. The crystals are living. They're not like potatoes that are live food that will grow roots and eventually rot. No, it's like solidified crystals, solidified liquid, very difficult to explain, but they basically are also the architecture of the planet, hardware and software architecture of this actual planet. So again, people that tell you crystals are evil, just move along. They do not know what they're talking about. And you can tell them there's no such thing as New Age. That is an absolute fibber. It doesn't exist except in the minds of people trying to distract and disrupt you. So just have confidence in yourself. We have to have confidence in ourselves. We can't keep being told by religion, what to do, what to think, and what's real and what's not. And all it takes is 2 minutes of you, having a thinky dink on your own and deciding, well, what do I think about crystals, for example? And my God, if they can help you heal, if they can calm you down, here's one. Here's a really unusual one. This is called a septarian. Now, this one is much more like a resin, and it's so unusual. And you can get these in a obelisk. There's lots of them. They machine them to obelisk shapes. You know, an obelisk, like a very long, tall, skinny pyramid with a point on the top. A lot of people say that the Queen Hatshepsut, that she was the first one to introduce the obelisk into Egypt. But then there's always crossover, isn't there? So we're not completely sure. But yeah, you can get them in obelisk shape. So what people sometimes use the septarian crystal for is for confidence. Now, I don't lack confidence, which is a good thing. But those that do might go on stage with this if they're delivering, let's say your child's doing the Christmas play or something and they're nervous, you can get a piece of septarian and you get them just to hold it, put it in their pocket, or whatever, and they call it the speaker's stone because it has a grounding effect. Because when you're all stressed and you're all like, what? you know, your energy starts to free fall, but it's not grounded in and steady so you can deliver and remember and recall. So it's a really good one. Septarian, septarian, like September. Okay, so now I'm going to move to the books for you once I show you the final one, because my favorite, Lemurian. Now, a lot of you know about the Lemurian, uh, the legendary Lemurian tales. Lemuria, Lemuria, Lemuria. Now, when you look it up, because of all the distortion and lies that is put on the internet to distract you and take you down a wrong road, you'll hear that Lemuria comes from the lemur. It's a lie, it's BS, it's bollocks. The lemur has nothing to do with the ancient cities and land masses of ancient Lemuria. Ancient Lemuria. Now, a lot of us remember those times. Lemuria was the time before Atlantis. It was before Atlantis. And in Lemuria, we worked with the rhythms of the earth, the pulse of her heartbeat. We knew all the herbs, we knew all the plants. We were a peaceful, peaceful people. And then Enlil, that Anunnaki bastard, came along and just blew up Lemuria. Some say he destroyed an ice filament off planet and that caused flooding. I mean, there's 1,000 stories, and there's 1,000 bollock heads online who say, I was the one who did that. It was me. I wouldn't be claiming that, mate, if I were you, because it's going to catch up with you. It really is. Anyway, from the times of ancient Lemuria, and some say the last stone of Lemuria is the island of Kauai in the Hawaiian Islands. That's where I lived. That's where I bought my labradorite. That's where I saw the UFO craft over the beach at Polahale. I've done several interviews on my channel on Lemuria and Kauai. So what you have on this is so incredible because you will notice ridges, these ridges here. It is said that these are where the crystal has been coded. And these are recordings, ancient recordings that hold information from the planet. Sometimes the crystals are found in the ground like this. I mean, it's really, really incredible. Sometimes you'll find them many growing together. Again, many different stories and tales of the Lemurian crystals. They look very similar to clear quartz, but they are not. They are a little kind of more jaded and cloudy, a little bit more yellowy. So you can really tell the difference. Plus, the ridges, you can see there on the side, are from ancient times. This has like a little thumb holder. I just love this one. This has been all around the world. I remember when I was living in Costa Rica and I was going down to Mexico and I got stopped and nearly lost my fart gun. Because they said, what's that? I said, it's a fart gun. They're like, you can't say gun. I'm like, oh, it's a trumpet. It's a this, it's a that. And they wanted this as well. They said it was shaped like a knife. Duh. Anyway, so not. But anyway, so this is what Lemurian looks like. And I have used this, I have held this, I have slept with this 1,000 times. I have, sometimes I just, I can't explain. It's okay. We get attached to things and I get attached to my crystals, and I'm okay with that. And I'm a grown up, I'm a big girl, and I don't believe in the new age. I know where that came from. It was to distract you and make you feel like an idiot. I'm sitting on this channel with a crown on my head made of rose quartz, which is the love crystal. When we want a bit more love for ourselves, we use the rose quartz crystal. If I don't care, why should you? Why should you? Anyway, use the crystals to help yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a little breathing technique. If you are somebody with anxiety, I want you to recognize that you're probably stuck on one mode of breathing. All right? So, and it's all right. It happens to most of us, especially during this time. So you'll probably realize that you're breathing in and out at the same pace. Probably not that fast, but breathing in and out, breathing in and out. All the time that we're breathing in and out at the same pace, we are kickstarting the fight or flight in the brain. Fight or flight, okay? Now, if you want to instantly take down your anxiety for yourself, for your partners, for your family, for your kids, for the students in your class, you teachers out there, here's what you do. You get them to breathe in for 2 and out for 4. Breathe in for 2, out for 4. Breathe in through the nose for 2, out for 4. Do you know what happens in that 1 second? When you breathe in shorter, breathe out longer, your brain registers that you have stopped breathing in and out at the same pace. So your fight or flight is going bananas, right? Your adrenalized system is on alert. Yeah, this is how we get run down and, we burn our adrenals. When you breathe in for 2 and out for 4, your brain goes, oh, we're not on emergency mode. Oh, we can relax. It is unbelievable, and you are welcome, because the more you remember that, the more you're going to bring down your own anxiety, trauma, response to stimuli. It's really, really useful. Okay, so there you go. Now let's move to the books. A lot of you ask me all the time, what book can I read? What should I be looking at? We are in another round of people finding out about demons and angels and aliens. That's the name of my book, where I've given most of my memories from the past 50 years on things that happened to me as a child and these physical beings that I met. But I want to start with other people who have put their experiences into effect. And the first book is Autobiography of a Yogi. Paramahansa Yogananda. He's a man, not a woman. And he brought what's called Kriya Yoga to the masses, to the West from India. He brought a practice called Kriya Yoga with a Kriya. This is not yoga, yoga stances and yoga postures. No, it was learning to breathe from the base of the spine up through the spine, in through the middle of the brain and to the third eye, to the pineal gland, where you would then imagine a white star, a white light, which is connecting to the piezoelectricity, and then you breathe all the way back down the spine again to the lower chakra. And you would pulse up and down, kickstarting your electromagnetic frequency, re-establishing and balancing your nervous system, but also what it does as it's lighting up your chakra system, the energy system in the body that I believe anchors in the soul, you then are having direct connection to the creator that created you. Call that energy whatever you choose. It is your decision and your decision alone. So that is what we do. We come to understand in this book that this beautiful man, his original name was Mukunda, little boy in India, and when he grew up, it was very common to see men performing seemingly, unbelievably brilliant metaphysical miracles. There was a man down the road that could levitate. He was called the levitating Swami. Swami is a word used for holy man, Swami. These guys were Hindus in India. And this is such an incredible book. I love this book. I love to hear about the ancient swamis in here and what they could do. But remembering also that they knew about Jesus at this point, and they knew that he was a real physical man who I physically met. So I know he's real. Jesus Christ isn't a Christian. He never was. Christianity was developed as a marketing after he died. And then they weren't there to actually meet him. So they changed a lot of stuff around. Jesus is a man of love and grace. And I met him and I felt him and I saw him and I looked in his face and he smiled at me. I'll never forget it. No one's taking that from me. And these men in India that I'm telling you about, Yogananda, for example, they practiced, they respected Jesus because Jesus spent time in India. And just because it was taken out of the Bible and hidden in the Vatican, oh yeah, there's a lot of books in there. Sure, you know that though, right? You know that by now. Because the last spiritual revolution we had in 2012 and before, when all this information was trying to come out, but it was stopped again, now we're like, oh God, here we go, let's reboot again. But this time, we're all on board. This time, none of us are going to miss the signs. None of us are going to miss the information. So I don't mind going over stuff over and over and over again because I know that when I was trying to wake up, trying to get information, oh my God, if someone had taken time to sit on a channel with a crown on our head, silly glasses, breathing techniques, crystal information, and a good lot of books, I wish there could have been someone like that in my time. But anyway, so here I am for you. So the book is Autobiography of a Yogi. Now, for those of you that don't want to read a non-fiction, you can read this fiction. This is absolutely bloody brilliant. Dan Brown, The Lost Symbol. When I read this book, I'm like, oh my God, this would make the best film ever. But you're never going to see it made as a film because they ain't got the balls, because it's got too much information in it. Or if they did do it, it would be a pathetic attempt at trying to cover the book. Freemasons, Masonic technology, the magic square, the secrets, the sacred geometria, the hidden pyramids in New York, Washington, D.C., how the blueprint of Washington, D.C. is laid out, same as London, same as Rome. It is a really, really good book. A fast read. I mean, it's bloody thick. When I read this, I was like, oh, this is so good. I mean, I put the bloody pages down. I was going to do a project on it years ago. I never got round to it. But it's so full of information that will really, really help you based on an archaeologist. Blah, 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 blah. Takes you on a ruthless change through Washington's dark history. Washington's dark history. Um, yes, Masonic secrets. It is so good. So you want a good read? There you go. Dan Brown, The Lost Symbol. Now, if you have background, everything's sideways. I just take it off. Honestly, I'm just so rubbish at these things. Is that sometimes I put my lipstick on, I'm rubbish at that too, and I think, oh God, I look like I ran into it. Like, you know. Anyway, okay, onwards and upwards. This is brilliant. The Medical Medium. I can't stand the rib cage image, but this is a book that gives you herbs for medicine, for self-healing. The guy that wrote this book is, a little bit cocky. He's like, no one else does what I do. Well, Edgar Casey did, mate. He did. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it is a really good book. He's also got a cookbook out as well. But it talks about ADHD, adrenal fatigue, autism, autoimmune disease, candida. Most of us are suffering with an autoimmune, equaling inflammation. The inflammation's coming from the food and the environment. It's unbelievable. So if you want, people who've tried everything and they can't seem to get on top of this and that, and they're taking pills for this and taking this for that and doing this for this, this is a really good read. The Medical Medium, Anthony William. Okay? You've got Christmas coming up. People are going to be expecting you to buy them presents, so you can get them good books. This is one of my absolute favorite books. Oh my God. I learned most about voodoo that I know from this book. This guy, Dukan Gersi, he's not around anymore. I tried to track him down and get him on my channel, OBS. Of course I would. He's traveled around the world living with tribes, on the inside of tribes. You cannot believe what's in this book. I hope it's still in print. It is so good. An eyewitness experience of voodoo, shamanism, psychic healing, and other amazing human powers, metaphysical powers. Let's say that I rub my hands together, right? And in doing that, I'm creating heat. Yeah? It's just me, my body, my hands, my heat. And when I create enough heat and I don't pull my hands apart, I barely move them apart. When I do that, I can feel the electricity that I've just created. And I can take that electrical impulse that I've created and agitated to create power, to create energy frequency between my hands. And I can put it back on my own body. And I can focus on my own healing. Or if there's a child or a person that's not feeling so great, I can do the same thing. I can set my intention. I can imagine connecting to God, to source. I can bring down that light within me, add it to the intention I have to create healing and health and warmth in my hands, and then I can take all of that and with my intention can put my hands on a child, a person, and just offer them love and offer them heat. It is unbelievable when people open their minds and let go of restrictions, what a simple thing like this can do. So this book is full of, oh my God, it's so fascinating. Shamanism, sorcery, the Tuareg people. Oh my God, the Blue Men of Sahara. You should read about them. It has so much in it that's so exciting. The cosmology of the peoples of tradition. They've got like information on werewolves and things that we're told are absolute nonsense, vampires. You know, these stories have come from somewhere. And this man has gone around the world experiencing many different things. Here's another great one, The Seeders. This is about the beings that seeded our planet. It was written by my best friend, Elena Danan. It is thick, it is comprehensive, it is a book of archaeology, it is a book of wonder, it is a book of the planets, it is a book of the true history of your planet before religion. Okay, very important to note, before religion. It is unbelievable. Elena Danan has brought so much to the planet. She has brought more information to the planet than anybody I've known in my whole time on this planet. And I mean that. Any one single person of any subject, Elena Danan has encapsulated information for this time right now that is absolutely needed on this planet for people to open their minds and let go of the chains that bind them to a particular belief system that they've been programmed with. We've all been programmed. The Cedars, The Return of the Gods. This is the book. Take your time. Now, on my channel that you're watching, there are several broadcasts that Elena and I have done together where we go into this book and we read chapters of it because it is very, very comprehensive. Some people just can't be asked to read any books. They want it all handed to them. Some struggle. Some can't afford a book. And so we've taken all that into consideration and we've done several broadcasts on this particular. Oh, there's my boyfriend. Oh, I love him. Nikola Tesla, I always joke about him being my boyfriend. He didn't actually date, but he was the most amazing man in the world. But don't worry, I did include him because he's in here somewhere in my book collection. Right, moving on. Elena Danan also, my puppy chewed it, but she also made Encyclopedia Galactica. This is an astonishing encyclopedia of different beautiful people that live in our solar system. Many look like us. Oh, and some of them are just so good looking, aren't they? Woo-hoo! Hello, darling. Over here, I'm single. Oh dear. No, no, I am though. I'm sure you can see why. Oh dear, who's this? This is Ara, Sha'al. I mean, these drawings are absolutely incredible. They're incredible. And she's done this so that those of you who've had interactions can actually gauge and map who these beings are. It's rude to laugh, isn't it? Oh, bless. This, I don't know. I don't know if these are nice ones or not. I don't know. But anyway, this is, I just can't believe what she did. Look at this. Look at this. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Oh, sorry. Oh, Canis Major. Oh, yeah. The book goes from, from Earth to Canis Major, from Andromeda to Canis Major. So yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, one day they're going to be here. There's a load here. There's so many here, you know, that look like us and some that don't look like us. It's going to be part of our natural, you know, day to day. It's just going to be part of everyday living, you know, so get used to it. Not laughing, mocking. Like, I'm actually so excited. I've seen so many of these beautiful beings, so many of them physically, and they really are quite something. Now, We need extra education on the Knights Templars. There were negative and positive ones. I remember a bloke years ago when I was living in Costa Rica, when I was doing one of these videos, because I've done so many with the crystals, with the books I read, and always, trying to think about how I can help you. And this bloke went, "It was fine until you mentioned the Knights Templars." And then he just went off and unsubscribed. Oh, bye, 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 bye there. Have a nice day on your way to McDonald's. But basically, we do need to really pick up different books and different subjects. And, these guys weren't there. I wasn't there. You weren't there. To remember every single name and every single thing. So we can only go largely on historical facts or those that actually do have memories. And some of us absolutely do. And there were negative and positive. So I like to educate myself as much as I can. And having read different books on the Knights Templars, I found the one by Sean Martin really quite comprehensive. Not too long. It's old, it was written years ago. And I do tend to go for older books because the newer ones are so redacted. They take so much good stuff out. Anyway, what are and who are the Knights Templars? That's one good book to go into. Now, my friend Tony Rodriguez, who was kidnapped by ETs as a little boy on the orders of a nasty bastard satanic family. He was used and abused. He was horrifically harmed by satanic family, horrible, dirty bloke called Richard in Seattle, in his big mansion on one of the islands there. Saw the unaliving of several children, was used as a party favor, meaning that people that came to elite parties off their faces on drugs could select children that were on dog collars, do whatever they wanted, put them back on the table or back in the pit. It's not funny. Of course, it's not funny. And if you've never heard of this information, well, you are now. Now, there's a lot of catching up that needs to be done, but a lot of the elite people that you consider or that we're told to consider elite are not who or what we thought they were. You got your P. Diddy boy, you got all those people going in prison and being put on trial, but don't think they're the front runners because they're not. No, 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 no. No, they're not. They're just the ones who've been pimped out to do whatever they want to make their deals with their demons and to get people into entrapment situations. But really knowing what happens in the military as well is absolutely crucial. This is the book, Tony Rodriguez series, Colony Cavalier. He was taken to the moon as a little boy. He flew from an airport in California called Inyokern. He flew on a craft in America, yeah, 40 years ago. Boom, boom. From the Earth to the moon in a few minutes. Now, just because you've never heard of it, because NASA never said, it doesn't mean it's not happening, because it is, my love. And it has been. And this book is a hard read. It's a hard read. Okay? Now, I consider my mum a tough person, but she read it and she said, oh, she couldn't finish it. It was too much for her because I told her it's true and I showed her my friend Tony Rodriguez. I've got tons of videos, me and him on this channel. And he always speaks at my conferences because he's one of the most important whistleblowers on our planet. Because he was taken on the orders of a satanic, he was taken by ETs, the Negative Galactics, and he was sold into a military program, the American military program called Grill Flame. So it's a tough read, but you want to know what's going on? That's one of the books. Now, a lot of people think this bloke is a satanic. I never met him. His name is Manly P. Hall. This is his book. It's called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. What he does in it is he covers from the beginning of time, symbols, sigils, salamanders, stories. I mean, it's a hard read. It is a book you dip in and out of. It covers fairies, gnomes, elves, fishes, insects, animals, reptiles, and birds. There are some very negative things said about Manly P. Hall. The griffin shows up a lot, so does the eagle. But again, if you are somebody that can handle more of an academic study, then this might be the book for you. And it's all in one book. After he wrote this book and finished it at the age of 26, which is basically putting a lot of information together that was already there. There are some people that play that down. A friend of mine who's a bishop in the metaphysical church, yes, there is such a thing. He told me that Manly P. Hall spent weeks in the New York Library, one particular New York library, where he got all his information to put this book together. I wasn't there, so I can't comment, but my friend is absolutely certain that this is how this book came about. When this book was developed and published, Manly P. Hall was then invited to become a 33rd degree Mason. Now remember, not every Freemason is evil. Not every lodge is evil. Have the Freemasons been infiltrated by the Satanics? Yes, they have. Unfortunately. So it doesn't mean also that as a 33rd degree Masonic that you're then going to keep on going to the higher degrees because there are many. Some say up to 100, some say more. Just because you ain't heard of it doesn't mean it's not true. So frustrating, isn't it, when you think you know, and you're even part of a lodge, and you've done certain rituals, and you've got to your third degree, and you're like, no, no, no. Just talking nonsense. Am I? Am I though? So Manly P. Hall is another study that I would say if you have a mind to really dive into, unredacted. So you've got ancient scriptures, ancient words that Wikipedia hasn't come along and like taken out. You know what I mean? That's what you've got to be careful of today, is the way that people steal information all the time. Like in this book. This is one of my favorite books. I've been showing this on my channel forever. My boyfriend, Nikola Tesla. Now, this book, My Inventions, look how tiny it is. It's absolutely weeny weeny. Yeah. Now, it used to be a bit bigger. And when I was living in Costa Rica, I had a copy and it got moldy because everything gets moldy in Costa Rica. So I ordered a second one. Yeah. Bloody page is missing. I'm like, where's the bit on the turbines? Where's the bit on the EMF tower? Where's the bit on this and that? Gone. Bloody well gone. How rude. But this is what the controllers, are doing. Anyway, this book was a series of papers that this darling man wrote for the young men of the day who were studying. I think the magazine was called The Experimenter. And he wrote articles to try and encourage the young men, because it wasn't about women in those days, of course. It was very much a man thing to do, to be an engineer. These papers were put together, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's like you can feel him. You can feel the essence and the energy of a great man who writes so beautifully and talks about his mom, who was brilliant, and his dad, who was brilliant, and his first lookings into working, and that horrible Edison who tricked him. And just they used him so badly. It was just dreadful, beyond dreadful. But anyway, it's a really quick read, but it's so fascinating. I've read it. I can't even count how many times I've read this book. My Intentions. Ooh, it's so distracting. My Inventions, the autobiography of Nikola Tesla. Okay, few more. You want to know about tax? Get yourself one of these, baby girl. The UCC Connection: How to Free Yourself from Legal Tyranny. This will wind you up. This will piss you off. Look how small it is. Yeah? Little bit of information goes a long way. The 10 maxims of commercial law. A workman is worthy of hire. We are all equal under law. In commerce, truth is sovereign. Well, I think the controllers at the top forgot that, didn't they? Anyway, those of you that want to know more about tax, your tax history, and how to, rewrite your own life, your own rules. Whoops, just about myself in the nose with it. That's the book for you. Now, look at this. I talk about this book all the time. This book has the names of people today still in power, in government, across the planet, who are absolute monsters, tyrannical dictators, harmers of young ones, harmers of adults, males, females, animals, harmers that still are leading and should not be. And the reason why this book is in my hand is because it was written by my beautiful friend Kathy O'Brien, who was on my channel last night with two other survivors of SRA, which is prevalent across the entire world. The transformation of America is absolutely shocking. It's the worst book I've ever read. It's almost, well, it's up there with Tony Rodriguez's book series Colony Cavalier. But this book has, like I say, during the Reagan administration, she names the names of 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 people. You'll go, no way. Yeah, yes way. It's really shocking. So if you want to know more, the names of the monsters in that book. This is mine, Angels, Demons, and Aliens. I always feel a bit shy talking about it because I'm not here to flog it. I mean, it's as cheap as chips. It's not like, I get a fortune for it. I really don't because Amazon are so greedy. But the angels I met, the demons I met, and the aliens I met physically in person from a tiny child, a lot of information is in this book. And a lot of you will see your own self, your own stories. What about the things that have happened to you? Your own experiences. Tell your stories. I'm actually doing a second book like that. It's Angels, Aliens, Demons, and Ghosts. I'm going to put more of the ghosts in there. And I invite you, if you've got a good story, a good, true, completely true experience that you had, then I welcome you to type it out, edit it, spell check it. Don't put too much foul language in it. And dates, times, names, what happened, how you got through it, how you feel now. If it's passed by the team who'll read it, including myself, it will go in the next book. Do not give me a manuscript with one paragraph on it, and I'm not doing the job for you. Okay, it's hard enough writing and editing as a dyslexic. You know what I mean? But you are welcome if you want your story in my next book. You're welcome to have a go. And if you want to leave a website, an email, so when people read your chapter, they go, "Oh, I want to contact this person." You are welcome. There's no money in it. You can bugger off. I'm funding the book. But you are welcome to come in it. Now, this book really, really always busts me up. I find it really difficult. Even when I hold this book, I want to cry because it's about my beloved Hawaiian brothers and sisters. And the title is And Then There Were None. And this tells you about the genociding of the American government that went into the Hawaiian Islands. And they imprisoned the members of the palace of the last queen of Hawaii, also known, her name was Lilikoi. And they imprisoned her beloved people. And they said to her, if you don't concede and step down from the throne and sign it over to the American government, we're going to kill your people. Now, what choice did she have? What choice did any of them have? These beautiful ancient people, these indigenous people, these beloveds with their language and their dance, their hula, their language, the observance of the moon and the planets and the stars and the land and the oceans. They are a blessed, blessed people. And they were genocided, like all of our indigenous beauties, brothers and sisters on this planet. I'm so happy that the languages have remained, that the people that tried to harm our indigenous brothers and sisters ever did completely wiped any of the tribes out. The secrets are still there. But this is a hard read because it tells the truth of how the last queen of Hawaii was taken down. And the last, one of the most sacred parts of all of the Hawaiian Islands is the island of Maui and the town of Lahaina. And Lahaina was genocided. Lahaina was absolutely targeted and still is. And I've had Eddie Batura on my channel, I think 3 times now, letting you know updates on Lahaina. Are they rebuilding it? Are they rehousing the people and the children? No, they're still stuffed in hotels. They've done sweet FA in over a year. little bits here and there. They're hoping to stress the people that lost their homes so much they leave the islands and they go to America, which I always find it so funny and so insulting that they call it the mainland. No, that's America. And it's 5,000 miles away, or whatever it is. It's thousands of miles away from the Hawaiian Islands. And only because the Americans infiltrated and genocided. It's true. It's true. I love America. I love the American everything. I do. I lived there for 20 years. But you got to tell the truth, okay? Look what the Brits did. I'm British. Look what we did. Look what the Japanese did. Look what the Dutch did. Look what the Portuguese did. Every bloody country has a history and they've buggered up everywhere on the planet. And now, as a planet, we're unifying in love. We're putting things right. We're owning mistakes. We're rewriting the rules. Okay? There'll be no more godheads, no more leaders, no more queens, no more kings. You know, nah, nah. It's all changing for the better. And on that way, you got to do your journeying, your researching, your healing, your breathing, your reading of books that are going to help you. And my God, these are some of my absolutely best. Let me just show you 3 more quick books by the same author. Oh my God. This guy, Kurt Barker, he was taken as a little guy and used by a patriarch in his family, a sicko. He was sent into the highest echelons of aristocracy across the planet, across the world. He had his personality split, which you do by harming a child in the worst possible ways, in the worst imaginable ways. And he was given the name of a girl. So some of the time he was called Kathy, dressed up as a girl. Oh my God, it makes you feel sick just thinking of the things I've read in this book and what that poor guy had to do. And he's had the courage because he was in Satanism. He had no choice from a child. You know, he was graped into it. Anyway, he wrote that book. And he also wrote Angelic Defenders and Demonic Abuses, which is the first book, breaking into the story of his beginning. And then this you're going to love. Deconstructing the Illuminati, the illumined ones, the ones that put themselves in the self-appointed, self-anointed positions, and they should not have. The ones that look at us like we're just cattle, we're nothing. The ones that truly believe they're in charge and they're winning and they won, but they didn't, did they? And so now we're seeing the collapse, you know, the collapse of the empire that was built, the collapse of Rome, because the Roman Empire never did fall, my loves. It never did. It's called the Vatican now, and also known as the seat of Satan. I know it's hard. I know it's jarring. I know it's annoying. I know it's triggering. But if you've stayed this long with me, thank you so much. I'm doing what I do because I love humanity. I will stand with you. I will bring you the truth as I know it to be true. I will give you every tool I have, every book, every piece of knowledge that I have that can support you in your individual journey, protecting you, looking after your health, looking after your mind, remembering how to breathe, to de-stress, how to pass tools on to people, how to share, because it's our job. You know, it's our job. If you've got good information, people deserve to hear it, don't they? But anyone that comes to me with the hand of fear, any single person, I honestly imagine the highest of the highest in your mind that you think is so high. I'm not impressed by them at all. I'm not intimidated. I just don't. I'm neutral, you know. But anyone that uses fear in any way, I'm like, dude, you better keep walking. We're going to get a kick up the arse. People using fear and dominance and control are people that I recommend you walk away from. Because if somebody has to use fear and threat to coerce you into imagining, believing, and thinking, for example, if you don't give your heart to Jesus, you're going to go to hell. Bollocks. Jesus never said that. Jesus never once said, give me your heart. Give me your soul. Balls. He never said it. Not true. What he did say was, what I can do, you can also do. Or you can do better. Or you can do greater. And those that get so angry to the point of rage and murder, who can't even stand to hear a woman like me talk in that way, you need to check yourself, my love. And I'm concerned for you. I'm concerned for the trauma in you, the rage, the hate in you. And I I want you to heal. And I want you to take care of yourself and take a breath and calm down, okay? Because you're not being helpful, raging on the religious trainings that you've had. And I know what I'm talking about because that used to be me. I was programmed and traumatized into being a good Christian, evangelical Pentecostal. Anyone that spoke about crystals or certain books or this or that, or could see spirits as I could from a child, I would run away from. So I was traumatized by people like me as a little girl. Then I came to realize I'm a good person. I can see all these terrible things. I know these terrible things. I have these abilities that other people say they don't have. I'm a good person. So at this stage of my life, I bring, I share, I sit, I talk. Hopefully someone's listening. And I really do sincerely hope that this in some way helps you. All right. Now remember, with Christmas coming up, get yourself a pair of these. Break up the stress. You know, remember, we are here to love, to live, and to be loved and to give love, and to have fun along the way. And despite the upset, the struggles, the trauma, the war that we're in, there still is and will be moments like that of pure joy and pure love. Find as many as you can. Be that. Be who you came to be. You came to be love, as I did. My name is Danny Henderson. I do hope these tools help you. Sincerely send you love from my heart to yours, and I'll see you soon.